This is cause number 24FD0564. This is a petition to establish the parent-child relationship and petition and suit affecting the parent-child relationship with an acknowledgement of paternity. This was filed by the Attorney General's office on March 18th of 2024. Both parties are present on Zoom today. This is a remote proceeding, and I am sitting outside of Galveston County pursuant to the Texas Family Code, Section 201.1045. And I've had nobody has filed an objection to proceeding in this manner. Mr. Sanders, can you state your full name for the record, please?
Eddie Joe Sanders.
Okay, and Ms. Huey, can you state your full name for the record, please?
Ayumika Deshaun Huey.
Okay. Can you both please raise your right hands? Do you each solemnly swear that any testimony you give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, you may lower your hands. And counsel for the Attorney General's office, please state your name.
Garabeto Kamajian, and I represent the state.
Okay. A few housekeeping items. The first is I'm an associate judge, so you both have the right to know you're entitled to a de novo hearing before the referring court regarding decisions I make. Also, please note that nobody should be recording this hearing. Audio, video recording, photographing, or broadcasting court proceedings is prohibited, so nobody should be doing that, whether they're here on Zoom or if they're watching on YouTube. Also, please note, even though you're in your houses, this is court and it should be treated that way. So that's speaking in civil tones, not just running out of the room and away from the camera, especially without telling anybody. If there's an emergency, that's one thing, but generally you're supposed to be here as if you're in court. Also, generally we take testimony in court, so one person is asked questions at a time by the Assistant Attorney General. If you're not the person being asked questions, unless you have a legal objection, please don't interrupt that person or answer for them. You're having a hearing, so there's things you don't agree to. You're going to hear things you disagree with. Just wait till it's your turn to speak. And then lastly, I'm not with the Attorney General's office, so be aware you might be asked questions that you already responded to earlier today, but please note they're not allowed to tell me what happened in negotiations or what's happened on telephone calls or anything like that. So if you say, like I told you earlier, or like I said earlier, that gives me no answer because I don't know what you said earlier. So just please, answer the questions to the best of your ability, and we'll get through this. And you may proceed, Mr. Dehmejan. Are there any agreements?
Yes, Your Honor. There is an agreement. I've uploaded Exhibit 1. It's the genetic testing results, and the parties are agreed to offer that into evidence.
Okay, so you all agree
Yes.
to enter into evidence that DNA report?
Yes.
Yes.
And Mr. Sanders? Okay. It's admitted as State's Exhibit 1.
In Your Honor, I'd also ask the court to take judicial notice of the petition that you had stated earlier with the AOP, take judicial notice of that Exhibit A attached to that petition.
I see there's an acknowledgement of paternity that you all attached with regard to Jashawn Devon Sanders Huey.
And the genetic testing shows positive for both children, Your Honor.
You tested both children?
Yes.
Okay.
This was back in 2020. This was transferred in from Harris.
Okay. Okay. I see that. And I take judicial. I'm still looking at the AOP that you asked me to take judicial notice of.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I take judicial notice of that acknowledgement of paternity.
And Your Honor, I misspoke. This wasn't a transfer. This was a brand new filing by us in Galveston. I'm sorry.
You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just for a judicial economy, Your Honor, can I call Miss? I guess Miss Shanae left. I can call Miss Huey first, Your Honor.
Okay.
Miss Huey, can you state your name for the record?
My name's Tayamika Deshaun Huey.
And Ma'am, who are your children?
Julia Daviana Huey and Jayshawn Devon Sanders Huey.
And Jalea was born when?
April 29, 2013.
And when was Jayshawn born?
April 29, 2014.
Okay. And the father is Eddie Sanders, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ma'am, have the children always lived with you?
Yes.
Okay. Have they lived with you since birth?
Yes.
Okay. Now, do they live in your household?
Yes.
Okay. And you enroll them in school?
Yes.
You take them to the doctor?
Yes.
You take them to the dentist?
Yes.
Okay. Now, has the children ever lived with dad?
No. Well, yes. And when they were small children. So we lived together then.
When did y'all separate?
2014.
Okay. And since 2014, the children have always lived with you?
Yes.
Okay. Now,
Did Jayshawn ever live with him or just Jalea?
Can you repeat that, please?
You said 2014, but one of your children was born in 2014. So was Jayshawn ever living with him, or did you give birth after the separation?
It was Jayshawn lives with him. He left after the birth. It was a few months after.
And so how many months after?
I think 4 or 6 months after. I'm not exactly sure how long after, but it was about 4 or 6 months.
now, do the children go visit dad?
They just had their first visit in a few years over the summer.
Okay. And did they go visit dad this summer?
Yes.
And how long did they stay with dad?
The entire summer, from June to August.
Okay. Now, did they go visit dad before the summer?
No, just video calls.
Okay. And how many times a month would dad speak to the children?
Almost every day, if when possible. It was at first it was like every day. Then it went from every now and again. So it was off and on.
Can you clarify the time frame, Mr. Damation? Because I'm not sure when you're all talking about.
So when dad would communicate with the kids, what time frame would he communicate with the kids?
I'm not asking for like time, like 8 to 5 or what. I'm asking like for 2014 to now is about 10 years. So has like what time frame are you talking that he did these communications?
Mm-hmm.
And what time frame did he not communicate? Because it's 10 years is a really long period of time, and I'm not clear on when that all started or didn't start.
So in the 10-year period, it was like off and on communication. Like there was maybe a few months or maybe years went by, but I don't have specific times. I just know it was like off and on.
When did this become more of a usual communication?
About 2 years ago, started making it a little steady. It got off a little bit, but for the last year, it's been consistent.
Okay. So he's been in the children's lives consistently for about a couple years now?
Yes.
Okay. But before that, it would be random calls here and then?
Yes.
Okay. Now, when the children went to go visit dad this summer, did they have a good time?
According to them, yes.
What are some of the stuff that they do?
They said they went swimming. They went shopping. They played inside. It was a hot summer, so they didn't really do much of outside because Julia's like really bright. So not too much they can do outside, but they said they had a nice time.
Now, where does Dad live?
In Lubbock.
Okay. And how did the kids get up there?
He came to get them.
By car?
Their stepmom came to pick them up, yes.
By vehicle, and they drove up there?
Yes.
Okay. And how did they return to your home?
Their dad and stepmom drove them back.
Okay. Now, what do you do for a living, ma'am?
Well, I am self-employed, but right now I'm just a homemaker.
Okay. What type of health and dental insurance are the children on?
They have Medicaid, the Texas Children's Star program.
Okay.
For dental, they have the MCNA and DentalQuest.
Mm-hmm. Do you want the kids to be in Dad's life a more regular basis?
Yes.
Now, the standard possession order where Dad gets I could summarize it. Dad gets the kids the first, third, fifth weekend, every Thursday during the school year, every other holiday, and 30 days in the summer. Would you be open to Dad having that visitation schedule? Obviously over 100 miles.
Yes, but only if that's beneficial. Like if that works out for his schedule. But yes, that's fine by me.
Okay. Now you're asking for back child support too, right?
Yes.
And has he provided any monies to the kids in the past?
Yes.
Okay. And do you know how much he's given in the last 4 years?
Not exactly. No, not to the dollar amount. No.
Okay. Do you know how much he's given this year?
This year, probably a few hundred. I'm not sure, to be exactly honest. I don't want to give the wrong number and over exaggerate it, and I don't want to give the wrong number and under exaggerate it. But he's gave a fair amount.
Like if you were going to do an average, how much would it be?
I'll say for the year, roughly like 300, 400, something like that.
How much do you think last year?
Last year he sent them a lot of money last year, off and on. Probably like 400 or 500. I'm not sure, to be honest. It was off and on, like in sections. It was never like full dollar amount.
Do you know how much he might have given in 2022?
2022? No, sir.
2021?
21? I don't think we really had much communication. 2021.
What about 2020?
No.
Now when Mr. Sanders, let's talk about communication. When Mr. Sanders communicates, does he communicate with you or the children directly?
It's usually the children.
Okay. Is there a chance that Mr. Sanders could be sending the kids money without your knowledge?
No.
Okay. So you would know even if he do the kids have their own phone?
No, not anymore.
Yeah. They use your phone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, ma'am, do you have any safety concerns?
Yes and yes. That can't be a yes and no. Yes. I mean, we have a. Sorry.
Has any incident happened in the past?
Yes.
Okay. What incident happened?
We have incidents of like threats, like abuse. Yeah. And it's just not something that, I'm open with, but that's one of my concerns. He's taken the kids from me before.
Now,
Like,
when he would threaten you, what would he say?
basically, like, it'd be more like, me and he not with the BS. Don't make him have to. He come for everybody. What if he have to? Stuff like that.
Now, when these threats, do you believe him?
Yes.
And why is that? Is there something happened in the past where you believe these threats?
Yes.
When did that happen?
When we lived together, we had an incident where he put his hands on me. When we wasn't together and I was with someone else, we had an incident where he came and I was pregnant and he threw me. So we had, so yeah.
I object to all that.
Do you have a legal objection, sir? Sir, do you have a legal objection?
Ma'am, she shouldn't have lied.
Sir, do you have a legal objection? You will get a chance to talk and ask questions, but this is the time for her testimony. I told you you're not going to agree with everything she says. She's not going to agree with everything you said. This is the time, though, if you're interrupting, it's because of a legal objection, not because you disagree. I don't expect you to agree with everything she says. I don't expect her to agree with everything you say. So, sir, do you have a legal objection?
No.
Okay.
Now, Miss Huey, he put his hands on you when you were pregnant. Did that result in anything?
I miscarried.
Okay. Was the police called?
Yes.
Was he charged?
They tried to, but I didn't show up to court.
So the case was dismissed?
Yes.
Okay. Now that happened more than 2 years ago, right?
Yes.
But are you saying that if he makes threats now that you believe it because of that incident?
Yes. And previous incidents, I have scars literally to this day on my mouth, my eye, my nose right now, still to this day to prove that my point that I'm proving now. That is one of the safety concerns why I don't feel safe for him to know where I live. Where I'm at now, the only reason why I feel safe for him to know where I live is because my brother is here with me majority all the time. So he would have never known where I live. And that's how I like it. I allow him to talk to his children when necessary. I don't object to that. I don't have a restriction on that, just a time frame. Other than that, that is one of my major safety concerns.
Okay. So when you communicate with Mr. Sanders, how do you communicate?
Through Messenger.
Okay. How's that working for you?
For me, it's fine. For him, probably not, but for me, it works just fine.
Okay. So, would you be interested in app close or some type of app that you can communicate if the court orders it?
Yes.
Okay. Pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay. You may call your next witness.
State calls Mr. Sanders. Mr. Sanders, can you state your full name?
Eddie Joe Sanders.
Okay. Mr. Sanders, now, has the children ever lived with you in an extended time?
No.
Okay. Do you want to be do you want the kids to live with you? You want to be primary?
Yes.
Why?
Because their mother's not right.
Okay.
I have heard this woman tell my kids, they have asked for a bag of chips. She have told my kids they cannot have no chips because they wasn't on her food stamps. I have seen this woman mistreat my kids. That woman do not treat my kids the same as she treat the other ones.
Okay. Sir, now when the children have been living with mom all their lives, right?
Yes.
Okay.
There have been times where she have dropped them off with me and disappeared.
When was that?
We can go back several years. We can go back 2018. She did it. We can go back 2020. She did. No, I ain't gonna say 2020. Well, I say 2015, 2016.
In 28.
Sir, can you please calm down and stop yelling? This is a hearing.
I'm not yelling, ma'am. I apologize. I may sound like I'm loud, but that's the passion in me. I'm sorry. When I speak about my kids, that passion comes out because I'm tired of my kids being manipulated by Miss Hewitt. Miss Hewitt is really manipulating the system to try to use the kids to get money out of me. I used to give Miss Hewitt money on a regular without this child support thing.
So this isn't the time for you to just talk. Right now, you're a witness of the state. So the state gets a chance to ask you questions, sir. Let them do that.
Mr. Sanders, please answer my questions. You'll get a chance, like the judge said, to make a statement at the end. Mr. Sanders, you said that that the children was dropped off with you in 2018. How long were they dropped off in 2018?
2, 3, maybe 4 months.
Okay.
The whole time they with me, never heard from Miss Huey. Couldn't get in touch with Miss Huey.
Okay. Now, what months were they? Were they the summer months or the school months?
During that time, the kids were small, so they wasn't in school.
Okay. And you took care of them at your house during those 4 months?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what other? You said there was another year where the children were dropped off. What year was that?
2016.
2016. And how long were the children with you in 2016?
About another good 2, 3 months.
Okay. And you took care of the kids during that time as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And when was the next time the kids were dropped off with you?
Right before I left in 2017.
Okay.
Before I left you.
Okay. And how long did they stay with you in 2017?
About a month and a half.
Okay. So during these times, you took care of the kids, you fed them, you took care of them in your possession.
Yes.
Okay. And the children also stayed with you this summer, right?
Yes, sir.
Did they have a good time with you?
A great time.
Okay. What are some of the stuff that y'all do?
Went out to the movies, went out to eat, swim, water parks, play. I mean, there wasn't nothing that I wasn't trying to get them.
Now,
I was trying to get them everything they wanted.
Now, most of their lives, they've been with mom. They've stayed with mom. But you're asking this court to change that? You want the kids to come and live with you in Lubbock?
Sir, I know I'm supposed to hold this and wait to the end, but I'm just going to be honest. The mother has been keeping the kids away from me. That's why we here now.
Objection, not responsive.
Overruled.
Are you asking this court to be the primary?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Why?
Because I feel like they're not getting the proper care and attention that they need.
Okay. And what not proper care are they not getting?
For starters, Miss Huey had Jay Sean tested, and they're saying he's ADHD. and they have him on a bunch of medication. Miss Huey sent him to me for the summer with no medication. Supposed to have sent medication, asked for my address and everything, so she could have the medication sent down here from to the Walgreens. Never received any medication. The whole summer, my son ain't had his medication, and I ain't had no disciplinary problems out of him at all. At all. But when he get back with his mother, he has all kinds of disciplinary problems.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Now, what do you do for a living, sir?
At this present time, I'm unemployed. But before I became unemployed, I was working for Gandy's Milk, which is under companies that's with DFA, Dairy Farms of America. I was a forklift operator and a machine operator over there.
Okay. Now, when were you let go there?
September 1st of this year.
Okay. Why were you let go?
Performance. They put me on a new machine and I couldn't hack it.
Okay. Now, when you communicate with Miss Huey, how do you do that? Do you do it with phone, texting?
Messenger and texting.
Okay. Would you how does that work for you? Is it good?
I mean, I really don't mind.
Okay.
I to be totally honest, I really prefer not to communicate with Miss Huey, because Miss Huey has a way of twisting stuff and turning stuff around to make herself look like the victim.
Oh my God.
Ma'am, please refrain from making comments, just like I told him to.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Now, Mr. Sanders, you live in Lubbock, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you have any other kids?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, because you live in Lubbock, how do you plan on picking up and dropping off the kids in the future?
Well, to be honest, after this year, I was planning on moving back toward the Houston area to be closer to my kids so I can get to spend more time with them.
Okay. But until then, how do y'all what's y'all's agreement as to the pickup and drop off?
There is no agreement as far as to pick up or drop off. I mean, to be totally honest, I'm the only one with a vehicle, me and my wife. We're the only one with vehicles. Miss Huey have no way of moving around, so there's really no way for her to get back or forth. I mean, right now, I'm in between a rock and a hard spot. I'm just going to put it like that.
Okay.
Now, when Miss Huey did have a vehicle, she was constantly on me, asking me for money for gas just to see my kids.
Is
Now,
that a child in the background, Miss Huey?
No, ma'am. This is my chair.
Okay, so make sure that there wasn't a child.
May I continue, Your Honor?
You may continue.
Now, Mr. Sanders, on Sean's last name is Sanders-Huey. Correct?
yes.
Do you want that Jalea also be Sanders-Huey?
If it's all the same, I'll prefer for both of them to be Sanders without the Huey.
So you want Sanders?
Yes, sir.
On both?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Your Honor, at this time, I pass the witness subject to recall.
Okay. Do you have any other witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor. I just messaged Shanae to come back into the courtroom.
While we wait for her, I don't believe you asked Miss Huey about the last name or about pickup and drop-offs. Why don't we cover those issues?
Yes, ma'am. State recalls Miss Huey. Miss Huey, what do you want as far as right now? Jay Sean's last name is Sanders-Huey. Did you want to keep that or change it to Sanders?
I want to keep it like it is.
And right now, Jalea is only Huey. Did you want to change that to match the brother's name, Sanders-Huey?
No, she don't want her name changed, and I'm gonna stand by my daughter. She don't want her name changed, so I don't want her to have to change it.
So you want to keep everything the same as it is now?
Keep it exactly how it is.
Okay. So, ma'am, y'all live very far away. He lives all the way in Lubbock. How did you want to do the pickup and drop off?
We can find a way to meet at a mutual location. I mean, there's never an issue to get to where we can meet to. Let me calm down. I'm sorry. There is never an issue where I can't get to a mutual location if that's suitable.
Even if the mutual location is halfway?
Even if it's halfway.
Okay. Your Honor, pass the witness. And hopefully Shanae will be in pretty soon.
Well, the state doesn't represent either of you, so I'm going to give you both a chance to speak. Ms. Huey, we can start with you. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Yes, for the record, I'm so sorry. This kind of hit me out. I don't ask this man for anything, even if it pertains to my kids. When it comes to him giving my kids something, it's my kids that's asking me for anything. I honestly could care less if he did anything for them, because how our situation is. There's never an understanding between the two of us. My whole problem is with my son, Jay Sean, like he spoke on about the summer, the reason why my son did not get his medication for the summer, because when I asked him to bring him back, because I tried to do a Zoom visit, they said the Zoom visit wouldn't fit because they needed to check his vitals and everything. When I asked him to bring our son back just for the day so he can get seen and he could took him back, he told me that I'm always trying to do that, and I was every hoopla. That is the reason why I feel the way I feel about how it is with him. I don't feel like he should ever be granted full custody of my children, because he was.
Ma'am. You're saying you tried to do a Zoom visit with a doctor or with him?
With the doctor's office.
Okay, so was the prescription expired? Did he need a new prescription?
Yes, he needed a new prescription because he was on methamphetamine, and with methamphetamine, they have to constantly check your heart and all this. And I told him that. So since they ended up taking him off of methamphetamine and put him on a concertor. And my son did act a fool when he was there with his father. That's why he stayed in trouble all the time. And that's why when I asked when they brought him back, when was the next visit? When was the next pickup? When was you going to get him? Him and his wife both said, "Who, child? That boy there, he is something else." So if he was that good when he was with y'all would have never said that. You would have gave me a time and date of when you was going to pick up these kids who you love so much, who you want to come live with you so much. You would have gave me that. I was nice enough to stop all whatever hatred that I had for him and put it aside and made it all about our kids. But then every time we get in here, he's sitting here trying to make it seem like I'm the manipulative person. I'm not trying to be manipulative. And I never wanted to speak about how he made me miscarry my child and how he was abusive. I never wanted to speak on that. That is for the past. And I want to leave it there. But what I am concerned about is him trying to step up and play like he's been father of the year all his life. I've never given you my kids. You've never had my kids over a long period of time. Every time you've had them, I had to bring you food. I had to bring diapers. I had to bring formula. I had to bring all this. I was your transportation. You had nothing. You lived with your nephew. It was me who took care of you, not you who took care of us. Like, I don't understand. Like, I get and I sit in here and you just try to take my kids. You've been doing this since they were born. That stops today. I don't care how you feel about it. How I will fight you to the death of me for my kids, because these are my kids. You've never done anything. It's always been me. And I don't call you and still yet to this day if this was my last breath, I would call you and ask you for nothing. We in court right now because you filed on yourself, not because I'm looking for anything for you.
Mm-hmm.
So speak the truth. If anybody gonna be manipulative, tell me what it is. I didn't file this on you. You made this case, and you trying to fight something that you filed.
Yeah.
I got witnesses.
Please stop. Sorry, I can't even hear you. So whatever you're saying is accomplishing nothing.
I apologize. I'm thinking out loud.
And yeah, it's right now it's her turn to speak.
Like I've said back and I've let him. This is the second time. He even did it the first time when we had Houston court. I said nothing. I am tired of saying nothing. This is my lifeline. These are my kids. This is not something I'm just gonna tussle like it's a rope with you. This is something I've wasted. Look, I've wasted all my energy, my time, my days, and 10 and 11 years. And you couldn't even tell me how old they were. You couldn't even tell me that they was born on the exact same day at the same hour, 29 minutes apart. You couldn't tell me that. But you sitting up in here and acting like you just a father of the year because you got married. What the hell? That doesn't mean anything. Yeah. I'm so sorry. That means nothing. Don't act like because you got a wife now that you a father now. That's not how that works. I've been a mother for 10 and 11 years with no complaint, no breaks, no nothing. So don't come and say I said and I took breaks and I gave you 2, 3, 4 months. I would not ever. And when I gave you your kids and you gave them back, you told me that you wasn't going to get my kids because you wasn't no babysitter. You can't babysit your own kids. That's impossible. You can't babysit your own kids, and you can't say that those two are treated unfairly. I have 7 kids in here. I make sure that everybody gets everything they want in here. I make sure that everybody gets everything that is needed in here. I get enough food stamps to not complain about a bag of chips. I am on housing with 7 kids, so I'm not complaining. I'm not. I promise you I'm not. But you better believe I'm putting one foot forward and I'm not complaining and I'm not looking for you to do anything. We're here because you brought us here, not because I brought us here. And that is all I have to say. And I'm so sorry that I cursed. I'm so sorry that I was loud. I'm so sorry that I'm screaming. But my kids is my everything. And I've been dealing with this with him since the birth of them. And I feel like I shouldn't have to go through it. I don't feel like I should even be sitting here right now debating on whether or not he feels like if he obligated to take care of his kids. We could have did this out of court, but instead he decided to bring us here. So here we are. So own up to what you put us in and deal with it.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Sanders, is there anything you'd like to say about the issues before me?
Yes, ma'am. Now, everything Ms. Hewitt and sat up here and said has been a lie, especially the abuse part. She say I abused her when we stayed together. No, ma'am. I did take my kids. I didn't abuse Miss Huey. Miss Huey did not tell y'all I walked in a room. We staying in a house together. I'm in our bedroom sleep. She's in the other room with another man, oral sex. I walked in on that. Packed my stuff and the kids' stuff, and I did leave.
Sir, that's a lie.
Ma'am.
What?
Sir, that's a lie. We was not together. You told me the only way I can get rid of you was to put you in jail or kill you. I told you to leave me alone.
Ma'am, this is his chance to speak.
The whole day. Please stop lying.
Ma'am, first of all, this is his chance to speak. Second of all, both of you need to realize I can't go back in time. We're here about moving forward and creating some parameters regarding your children. Clearly, a lot has happened in the past between you two, and it's all very raw still, and it's all very bad. But it's not a criminal court. I can't punish people. At this point, you have a 10-year-old and a 9-year-old.
10 and 11-year-old.
10 and 11-year-old, I'm sorry. And this is where you all are.
Judge, we're here now because Miss Huey like trying to manipulate things and like trying to lie, and she's in denial.
Sir, please stop talking. You are here now because the AG's office filed a pleading addressing the issues of your children. You all tried to negotiate, and in Harris County, it got referred to district court and got dismissed. It got refiled here in Galveston, and now you're before a judge. You're here now because you all can't work out your issues on your own. And so that's why you're here. It doesn't matter. It almost sounds like you applied for services, but that's neither here nor there either to me. Somebody applied and it got filed. So that's what you're here about. So I'm here to rule on those issues. So if we can stick to the issues so I can make decent rulings for you and your children, I would appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, is there any way I can give a number to where y'all can call someone as a witness for me, because Miss Huey sitting up here saying she never dropped them kids off for long periods of time and didn't never return or say anything. I can have you call my mother, my nephew,
Sir,
my
you're
brothers.
responsible for your witnesses. This is Zoom. And, if we were live, you'd bring them to the courthouse. This is Zoom. You got to bring them to the Zoom. So if you have witnesses that want to call in, that's on you. The court can't do discovery, and I can't call people, but you can bring witnesses.
Yeah. He's going to call the mother who does not like his own daughter, that mother.
Man, get out of here with that. Stop, bro.
Sir. And ma'am, both of you have to stop with the commentary. You all have, this is court. If you can't behave, we're going to reset this case. I'm not making a ruling today because this is not appropriate. This is not your chance to fight with each other. This is a court hearing. You have to act accordingly, and you are not acting accordingly. If you want this case to DWOP like the Harris County case, it could happen. I'm trying to get a ruling for you all so you can move forward, but you all have to behave. Okay. You can unmute, sir. Ma'am, you may unmute too. Is there anything else you wanted to say, sir?
Like I was saying, she even manipulated Harris County, had me a lot. She said I made her cause her to have a miscarriage. Ma'am, she had me locked up for that. And all she had to do was send paperwork in saying that she had a miscarriage. And they'd have charged me with manslaughter. She lied. She did not have no miscarriage. That's what I'm trying to. I really need y'all to understand. Miss Huey is a big manipulator. And right now she's trying to manipulate this court to make it seem like she's the perfect mother. It's like she's the angel. No. I'm not gonna sit there and lie to you, ma'am. I know I ain't the perfect guy. I know I ain't the upstanding citizen, but I stand by mine, ma'am. I stand behind mine. And since my kids has been born, I have been begging and pleading with Miss Huey to be a part of their lives. Miss Huey is the one who told me she would rather just for me to be a phone call daddy. She would just rather for me to talk to my kids and send money. That's it. Me being a part of my kids' life? No, she did not want that.
No.
For the last 10 years, I haven't been able to be a part of my kids' life because of Miss Huey. Miss Huey is the one that's been denying all the phone calls, been denying me all rights to my kids, telling me what rights I do and do not have when it comes to my kids. That's why we here. That's why I filed against myself, because I need y'all to let her know that even though the kids stay with her, I'm their father. I have rights to them. And she have not been giving me them rights. That's why we here. She's sitting up here talking about that I couldn't give her a clear date as to when I would be back to pick up my kids. When I dropped my kids off, it was on my vacation. I worked overnight. I was working overnight. So that means when I get off at 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm working 5, maybe 6 days a week. I got to drive 10 hours to go pick them up for 2-3 days and then drive another 10 hours. I mean, that's 20 hours. That's a whole day down and back. And then just for 2-3 days and then drive that right back.
Sir, why did you leave?
Why did I leave Houston? Because I couldn't find a job. I moved outside of Houston and I've been getting all kinds of job opportunities, ma'am. I moved out of Houston to better myself and to get away from the trouble that I was getting into in Houston. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you, Judge. I was really in trouble. I was really hurting. And once I left Houston, I got better. I haven't been in any trouble in the last 15 years. I've been working. And I've been trying to be a part of my kids' life. I keep telling Miss Huey that I don't want my son to have to go through anything that I went through. She have called me from the school because he's at the school acting up. And it's always the same thing. I'm the one getting blamed. Well, he get it from you, stuff like this. If he get it from me, let me correct it. All I asked you to do, she said she was having so much trouble. I asked her to let him come stay with me just for a year, just so she can see herself the difference. Miss Huey don't want to do that. Miss Huey told me, let me call my caseworker and see if I let them come stay with you, will my food stamps and my housing and all that change?
When did I ever say
all this is about money when it comes to with Miss Huey. All this is money. She look at the kids as money, as a dollar sign. That's how she see the kids. She used the kids to try to manipulate me to give money. And she can't say that she hasn't. I have sent money and then talk to the kids later and ask them, did they get their money? And they ask me what money. Miss Huey takes the money now that I seen. And she act like she don't.
So are you sending the money to the children directly or to Miss Huey?
They have CashApp cards. I'm sending it to their CashApp card. And Miss Huey have access to all that.
When did you give them the CashApp cards?
No, she ordered the CashApp cards for them.
Okay.
So I can send them money.
When did she order them approximately?
I ordered CashApp cards, I think in
Ma'am, I was asking him.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's the one right now who's testifying.
I cannot really tell you when she ordered them. I know in 2020 is when I was able to start sending them money directly from me to them, because they would call me before then. They would call me and ask for things, and I would ask them, how you gonna get it? I'm not down there, and I'm not giving your mama no money, because when I was giving her money, she was giving it to her boyfriend. I don't know what happened between them for him to call me and confide in me everything that was going on in between him and her in their relationship, but he did. That's how I found out that she was giving the money that I was sending to him, and I cut it off. When I cut that off, she stopped letting me communicate with my kids. That's how I know this is all about money with Miss Huey. If my wife was still sitting here right now, she would tell you the same thing. Miss Huey tried to make it seem like that I'm not trying to be a part of my kids' life. I don't try to communicate with my kids. It's not me, Judge. It's Miss Huey.
Your Honor, may I ask
if you can see my messenger, just on me trying to get in touch with the kids, and I mean, I hate having to go through Miss Huey. I have bought my kids' phone. I'm not gonna lie to you. My daughter was 5 years old. Bought her a cell phone just so I could talk to her. The dude she was with, Miss Huey took the phone and gave the man the phone. The man making long distance phone call. It was a contract phone. They didn't know it was a contract phone. I called Miss Huey and complained about the long distance phone call. She told me that it was my daughter. Like a 5-year-old child gonna know to call Louisiana. Like a 5-year-old child gonna know to call Albuquerque, New Mexico, or somewhere. These are the calls that was. I wish I'd have kept record. I'd have kept them records. I'm looking at the long distance call. New Braunfels, San Antonio. I'm in Houston. My daughter 5 years old. while I'm receiving on a contract phone, receiving long distance phone calls or even long distance phone calls going out. That shouldn't be happening. When I switched the phone, when I had the phone set up to where it couldn't contact nobody but me, and I was the only one that it can call, Miss Huey smashed the phone and told me that my daughter did it. When I try to do things for the kids, it's always a problem. I have several text messages where me and Miss Huey, or Miss Huey and my wife, they made an agreement for me and my wife to get the kids like either for Christmas or Thanksgiving. Come time, when it come time to get close, I'll call to confirm that, yeah, we still going along with the plans. Can't get in touch with Miss Huey. Can't get in touch with Miss Huey at all. And it's always the same thing. And she tried to make it seem like it's me. It's not me. It's not me. If I could just show the records right now of all the messages and everything, you can see it's not me. I have never threatened to do no bodily harm to this woman. What I have threatened this woman with is getting custody of my kids. That has been my major issue with Miss Huey. Because Miss Huey, I mean, I don't know what her heart on is for me when it comes to the kids. I have never did anything to harm my kids. I have never put my kids in harm's way. The man she was with, out doing illegal things. She's staying in a government assistant apartment, and she's on housing. Had some guys run up in her apartment to rob this dude and put a gun in my son's face at the age of 4.
Okay, sir. Now we're talking about things from like 5 years ago. Again, I can't go back in time and prosecute things. I'm here to move forward. So, is there anything?
I was just stating how she put my kids in harm's way.
Sir, can I finish speaking? I'm the one ultimately making the ruling, so I recommend the answer to that be yes.
Yes, ma'am.
She has offered you a standard possession order. I'm inclined to grant it. I'm going to give you visits that you are legally entitled to. So please know that. Clearly, without an order, things were difficult for whatever reason. But I'm trying to, what I ultimately will grant today is an order that will give you the right to visit your children. Will it make you two get along better? It will not. None of this is going to go away because those issues are beyond what I can do. But you will leave today with visitation rights. Okay, Mr. DeHamajan, would you like to call Ms. Young-Fleeton? Ma'am, can you turn on your camera, please, and state your name for the record?
Tosiania Young-Fleeton.
Can you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear that any testimony you give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, you may lower your hand. And counsel, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Young-Fleeton, who do you work for?
The Office of the Attorney General.
And how long you been working there?
17 years.
And what do you do there?
I calculate child support, medical support, and dental support, and retroactive child support, medical support, and dental support.
Now, did you calculate the retro support in this case?
Yes, I did.
And what were your findings?
For the year of 2020, gross at minimum wage for 9 months, $289 based on 25%, a total of $2,601. For 2021, also based on minimum wage for 12 months at $289 at 25%, $3,468. For 2022, gross $41.82, net $35.25 for 12 months at $881 at 25%, $10,572. For 2023, gross 4452, net 3742.52 for 9 months at $936, 25%, $8,424. And for 2023, minimum wage, 3 months at $289, based on 25%, $867. For 2024, gross 3863, net 3269.26 for 6 months at 817, 25%, 4902. Also in 2024, for 2 months, 3441 gross, net 2930.18 at 732 a month at 25%, 1464. And lastly, for 2024, gross at minimum wage for 1 month, $289, based on 25% for $289, subtotal $32,587.
Thank you, Ms. Fleeton. Your Honor, at this time, I offer State's Exhibit 2 based on Ms. Fleeton's testimony. And the retro sheet has been provided to both parties before this hearing started.
Okay, does anyone have any objection to me admitting this into evidence as State's Exhibit 2?
I do, because I never received no retro sheet. I never received anything.
Okay, Mr. Damation,
So,
I'm going to
I don't
explain how
know
you
what
sent it to him. Sir,
I don't know where y'all at or what y'all talking about right now.
Sir, you need to, after you're done saying what you say and I start talking, you need to stop talking. I understand you didn't receive it, or you're saying you didn't receive it. Mr. J. Hamation, do you have a response to that?
Yes, Your Honor. I emailed it. I emailed the genetic testing results and the retro sheet to him before the hearing started.
Did you confirm he received it?
Okay.
Did you receive it, Mr. Sanders?
Yeah, I just seen.
Okay. Your Honor, I re-asked that it be entered as an exhibit.
Okay, does anyone have any legal objection to me admitting that as State's Exhibit 2?
No.
No.
1 second, it's not admitted yet. Takes me a moment. Okay, it's admitted. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. May Shanae Young Fleeton be excused, Your Honor?
Ms. Huey, do you have any questions for Ms. Young Fleeton?
No, ma'am.
And Mr. Sanders, do you have any questions for her?
Yes, ma'am. I want to know all these stats she getting. What is they based on? I mean, where did that come from?
The numbers are based on your income, your wages that were reported.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. You may be excused, Mr. Young Fleeton. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor, may I recall Mr. Sanders briefly?
You may do so.
Mr. Sanders, in the last 4 years, you said that you've given Ms. Huey monies to support the children. How much have you given in the last 4 years?
I ain't say I sent Miss Huey money. I say I sent my kids money directly.
Okay, how much have you sent the kids directly?
About 23 and some change.
Is that 2,300?
Yes, sir. 2,300 and some change.
Now, is that 2,300 per child or
yes, sir.
total?
Per child. Whatever I send to one, I send to the other.
Okay, so are you saying that you sent $4,700 to the kids?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I can't send one without sending it to the other.
Okay. You treat both of them the same?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Have you sent any other monies or any other type of financial help to Miss Huey in the last 4 years?
I have offered medical help. I offered to put the kids on my insurance. Miss Huey turned it down, saying she did not want the copay. She do not, because with my work insurance, there's a small like a $25, $30 copay. She don't want to have to. She don't want no copay.
Okay. Now, Mr. Sanders, you had the kids for this summer from June to August. Isn't that correct?
Yes, sir.
Are you asking for credit those months as well towards the retro balance?
Yes, sir.
Because they were living with you and you were providing for them those months, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Dehmasian, I don't believe there's been any proposals for a pickup and drop-off location for this child, the children.
Mr. Sanders?
Anybody?
Ms. Huey testified that she wouldn't mind meeting you halfway. What's a halfway what's your proposal, a halfway for you, sir?
Oh man. I mean, from where Miss Huey is in Galveston, Texas right now to me, that's like over a 10-hour drive. So anywhere in the middle. I don't care.
Do you know
the standard possession order is that you would do pickup and drop-offs from her house, sir?
Ma'am?
Are you requesting something different than the standard? Mr. Dehmasian, can you cover this, please?
Yes. Mr. Sanders, the standard possession order has it where you pick up and drop off from Miss Huey's residence or in somewhere near her home if a non-disclosure is granted. But where would you like it to be halfway?
Yes, I would, because I really don't see it being fair, me having to drive all the way down now to pick up the kids and then drive back and then have to make that trip again.
Okay. So where do you propose that pickup and drop off be? You've made this drive before. Yes, sir? Have you?
Yes.
And do you remember what city that you came to where it would be a halfway point between your residence at Lubbock and Galveston?
I mean, there's a bunch of little small towns. I can't recall the name of too many, and the ones that I do know they're either closer to me or closer out that way, and I don't see. Oh Lord Jesus!
Let me see if I can find a town that's halfway, sir. How about the town of Meridian? That looks halfway. Do you know where Meridian is?
No, sir.
And ma'am, do you actually have, he had said you don't have a vehicle, but I don't know how he would know if you do or don't. Do you actually have access to do?
No, but I have my sister who usually.
Because it would be like once a month you'd have to do this.
I mean, once a month is fine. That was said. That's why I don't even understand what he feel. I'm money hungry from. I don't.
Ma'am. Let's not go there right now. And another option, sir, is I could offset some child support if you're going to make the full drive to kind of accommodate that. Do y'all have a preference either way?
Ma'am? I
could also offset some child support to accommodate if you were driving the 10 hours each way. Okay. If not, Mr. Dehmasian, there's a City of Waco Police Headquarters in Waco.
Waco.
That might be a populated area.
Is that 3115 Pine Avenue, Waco, Texas?
I believe so.
Okay. Mr. Sanders, do you know where Waco Police Department is?
No, sir, I don't.
That looks like a good halfway point for y'all to meet and do the pickup and drop off of the kids. would you be willing to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. And it's populated and it's a police department, so everybody's safe. Ms. Huey, are you willing to meet and do the pickup and drop off at the Waco Police Department?
Yes.
Okay. Pass the witness, Your Honor.
And actually, Mr. Jahmajan, did you do a child support calculation or request?
Your Honor, I'm because he's not working, I did it based on minimum wage. So I can make that proposal now.
You're requesting, so he knows what you're requesting.
Your Honor, the state proposes minimum wage because he's out of work. That's gross 1256.67. 2 children in this case, 0 children outside this case. $50 cash medical towards the Medicaid that mom.
Was that 50 or 58?
$50.
Okay.
$50 a month towards cash medical. That would bring his net at 1106.54. And we propose that the child support be set at $277 a month.
Mr. Sanders, are you still there? Is he here for this?
Yes, ma'am. I'm still here.
Okay, just making sure you turned off your camera. Okay, I'm going to take a moment.
I was messaging my wife.
Okay, I'm going to take a moment to. That's okay. If you need a moment, you can take a moment now. I'm going to take a moment to look through my notes.
Your Honor, can I say one more thing?
Yes.
So because the parties live in different cities pretty far away, we also propose that the geographic be the state of Texas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay. Mr. Sanders, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. I'm here.
Okay. Making my ruling. I'm going to establish the parent-child relationship between Mr. Sanders and Julia based on the genetic testing. I'm finding there's already a parent-child relationship between Jashawn, Devon Sanders Huey, and Mr. Sanders based on that acknowledgement of paternity. He has a duty to support Jashawn based on that. And I am changing Julia's last name so that the children's last names match. So both children will be Sanders Huey.
Okay.
For conservatorship, I'm going to grant Ms. Huey managing conservatorship and Mr. Sanders possessory conservatorship, with Ms. Huey having the right to determine the primary residence of the children within the state of Texas. I'm going to grant the standard possession order, so Mr. Sanders will have visitation based on the standard possession order for parents over 100 miles, which is generally he chooses 1 weekend a month, and he has so many days to give you advance notice of that, with the pickup and drop-offs being at the City of Waco Police Headquarters at 3115 Pine Avenue in Waco, Texas. I'm finding that right now Mr. Sanders is employed, so child support is being based on minimum wage. I'm ordering that Mr. Sanders is ordered to pay Ms. Huey child support of $277 each month, beginning October 1st, 2024, and monthly thereafter, with a step down once one child emancipates. Ordering that Mr. Sanders pay Ms. Huey cash medical support of $50 each month, beginning October 1st of 2024. And for back child support, I'm ordering a back child support judgment against Mr. Sanders in the amount of $10,000 as of today. And I'm ordering that he pay that judgment back at a rate of $75 each month, beginning October 1st of 2024. That judgment, the order will state this, will accrue interest at 6% per annum per the family code. It is technically all due and owing. Other remedies can be taken by either Ms. Huey or the Attorney General's office to collect that money. I am going to grant the non-disclosure request with regard to Ms. Huey's information and order that the parties communicate AppClose, AppClose. And I'm waiving court costs because it sounds like everybody is a recipient of services, so I don't believe I'm allowed to grant court costs. And the Attorney General's office will draft the order based on my ruling today They'll send you each a copy through DocuSign to review and to sign off on. And so they'll have you go back to your breakout rooms, or you'll get a chance to wait for that. It won't take too much longer. And that'll be it. So thank you all for coming in today. Good luck with everything going forward.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.